What's up, Warrior family? It is Warrior Wednesday. That means it's our day. And I am coming to you with a special Warrior Wednesday word / car time chit chat mash up. And I'm going to talk about something that has just been on my mind and on my heart. And I wanted to get it out in the open. I'm going to pour my own tea. All right, so if you are interested, make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure that you go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a warrior. All right. So, this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. The big D. The D that nobody wants to really get into. But you know me, I'm going to talk about it. And I know you think, Miss D, what's the big D? You're a little apprehensive. I can tell. The big D is depression. As we get into the fall season, which is my favorite season of all, a lot of times people start to reflect on family and friends, and they get depressed. It's not always a happy time. And people that have chronic pain and chronic illness tend to deal with depression more than others. And so I want to talk about it, not just today, but it's going to be an ongoing discussion as we help each other through the holiday season. For me, depression was always a very dirty word. I did not want to talk about it. I did not want to speak it. It did not exist. I think that it was probably about 2010 when my primary doctor, who I had for several years, began to talk to me about maybe getting on an antidepressant. For what? I'm not depressed. I am in pain. My pain is real. This is not in my head. So what I need an antidepressant for? He tabled that discussion, but every time, it seems like every time, perhaps it wasn't every time, but almost every time I would go back for my annual checkups, or semi-annual, you had to go every couple months to get all the multitude of medicines that I'm on, because back then you could do refills on pain pills, so I didn't have to go every month, but I was going about every 2 or 3 months. And he would say, maybe we should just try an antidepressant to go along with it. Resistant. I ain't want to hear that. So I would say it was about 2012. And I was really, really struggling with, I'd been having my back troubles. And I went actually to get an MRI for my back. And when I went to get the MRI for the back, the radiologist said, well, yeah, you have some herniated discs, but the bigger problem is that fibroid tumor that's pressing on your back. Fibroid tumor? This is the first time I had ever heard of it. I always had very, very painful cycles. But I guess I just thought that was my plot in life. Very, very painful and very, very heavy. So long story short, and let me just put my little side note. Today I'm having a very foggy day, brain fog. So I'm talking slower than usual, because I'm trying to, measure my words and make sure they're right. But because y'all are my warrior family and I keep it 100 with you all the time, I wanted to come on and do my Warrior Wednesday. So if you see me talking slower than usual, it's because I'm having a fog day. All right, now back to what I was saying. Long story short, they started talking about having a hysterectomy. Well, for somebody like me who has always wanted to be a mom, that is the only thing in life. You know, when I was 5 and they were saying, what you want to be when you grow up? I would say, a mommy. For them to then be talking about a hysterectomy, that was devastating for me. So I finally conceded to getting an antidepressant. So, mind you, my doctor had been saying it for about 2 or 3 years, but I was not receptive. But when I got ready to deal with this particular battle, because I was just crying and would not stop. So I got the antidepressant, and you know, they say it takes a few weeks for it to get in your system. Well, the very next day, I took it that night. The next day, I woke up feeling better. Not happy, but it did not seem like my problems were insurmountable. It did not seem like it was more than I could bear. It was difficult, but I felt like I could handle it. And so that's been 2012, 6 years ago. In 6 years, I've been taking an antidepressant. The dosage has changed. I've tried different ones, but I realized the importance of it, and I realized that there was no shame in it. Now, I decided that I wanted to have weight loss surgery. My insurance would not pay for it, but I followed the steps and different things trying to, just in case they had the opportunity. And so one of the things that they required was that you see a therapist. So I made an appointment with a therapist, and I went to see that therapist. And listen, let me tell you, we were in there talking and laughing so that the receptionist came back to the door and knocked on the door and told us that we was disturbing other folks. We had a time. Well, needless to say, I never did have weight loss surgery. The insurance never would pay for it, but I continued to see that therapist because it was a time that I could go and take the mask off. I did not have to pretend to be okay. I could admit that I was fearful about what my next steps would be. I could admit that I wasn't coping well with the change in my life of going from being a diva to having a cane. I could admit that I was embarrassed about it. I could talk about things that I really couldn't talk about with anyone else, because even though I had friends and I had family and I had a spouse, you don't want them to see how hard it really is for you. You want to pretend to be strong or pretend to be coping well. And so going to the therapist allowed me to just take the mask off and say, this is what I'm doing. And my therapist helped me and coached me, and continues to coach me through these transitions. And that's what it is. If you were a soldier and you suddenly got your arm blown off or your leg blown off, you would have to go through physical therapy to learn how to adapt to this new thing, to learn some new ways of doing things that you've always done. You might have to learn to walk again or how to use your arm. It is the exact same thing. When you get mental health therapy, it is designed to help you to cope, to learn a new way of doing things. So, I just want to encourage you on this Warrior Wednesday. Do not be ashamed to use the big D. Do not be ashamed to ask for help. Do not be ashamed to talk to a therapist, to talk to a professional. Know that it's okay, and it might actually help. Don't be afraid to try something new to help you to be unstuck. It's not a magic pill, it's not a magic person, but it is okay. And I want to break the silence and say it is okay to talk about depression. I'm going to talk about anxiety, because the truth is I deal with depression, but my anxiety is something I deal with every day, every moment. And it's a huge thing that nobody wants to talk about. So I want you to make sure that you like, share, and tune in. So that we can continue this discussion on chronic illness and mental health. Love you.